Yesterday, the Kraken and I returned back into Zagreb, and today we caught an Uber from the airport to the storage facility, and we picked up our bikes. They seem fine, and now we're going to start the Sufferfest. So we're going to ride from here to Amsterdam. Not today, like we're riding today, but we're not going to get to Amsterdam today. So we haven't quite worked out the route yet. We'll probably do the river routes, you know, going up to Bratislava, and then heading over to the main river canal, and then down the main river, then down the Rhine and across to Amsterdam. But we're not 100% sure. If we're doing really well, we might go up through Germany and head down that way. So we're going to try and do long days and get there quickly, because we're running up against a time limit. The dealer who wants to deal with the bikes before he goes on holidays is leaving to go on holidays, and he's going to shut the shop for about a month and a half. So we need to get there before he does that. So and preferably a few days before he does that, so he can remove the part on my bike and send it off to the manufacturer to get warranty claim done. Okay, so we're off and we're excited.
Although we're not sponsored, none of that jazz, no discounts. We want to really give a shout out to Jennifer and the team at Credo Movers. They've been so kind and so easy to deal with. Highly recommended. If you need to store bikes for a little while in Zagreb, get in contact with them. They're just fantastic. How's it going, Charlie?
It's not great. This is a very busy city, and the bike paths are sort of retrofitted in, so there's like lamp posts continuously inside them, and they're shared with pedestrians, and it's very busy roads, and I don't think the drivers are great either. So getting through Zagreb has not been enjoyable at all, really.
And what's the weather like?
Oh, it's quite hot. It's quite hot. This European summer is hotter than I thought it would be. First day back on the bike, and effectively we've just got to the edge of town. It's been a pretty demoralising first day back. My ass hurts again, and also the traffic's been terrible and the bike paths all over the place. And so we'd have to do another 53 kilometres to the next accommodation, so we're just calling it quits today, staying at this nice place, and then we'll head off tomorrow. It'll be a new start tomorrow, but it'll be road riding, and it's quite a busy road, so it's not much fun at the moment.
So Charlie jinxed us by naming this the Sufferfest, and how can we be surprised when we're suffering?
We've got an early start this morning. We've started up around 7 o'clock, trying to beat the traffic on the road. But unfortunately the traffic's pretty busy, even though there's a bit of a lull in it at the moment. But we're heading towards just before the border with Slovenia. So we won't be crossing over the border tonight, but we're getting there. It's a long day, it's about 80 kilometres. Let's see if we make it or not. We're doing pretty well. We've come about 30 kilometres. It's heated up, so we've got a good sweat going on. PJ has rebelled and put all her weight on my bicycle, which I think there's a moral hazard in that.
A lot of traps.
As you can see, this is a busy road.
We cling to the edge of the road, but the locals dominate it like a boss. We're having a couple of arse breaks because getting back on the bike again is always painful. There's certainly a lot of fresh produce in this place. It's pretty cool. This Gothic Renaissance fortress was built in the 12th century. And Charlie has only 2 speeds, Flat Biscuit and a napping cat. Soon we set off, and for some reason I kept thinking that Megan really likes corn. They have these miniature churches everywhere. This is a tiny little fire station. To an Australian, these all look like Christmas trees.
PJ gave really bad directions, the Kraken, and so she stopped and I rode ahead up 2 more hills before realising that I was on a fool's errand. And so I turned around and rode back again. And they just both destroyed me. They were both like steep hills.
Was I waiting for you at the turn?
She was waiting for me at the turn. I thought she was walking up the hills, you know, like, I was going like, this is taking forever. So we got here, it's been the last 29 Ks has been very hilly. It's been quite difficult. Shagged.
I think you do. Charlie's asking me if he looks shagged. I'm like, yes. I'm sure I do as well, but you poor Charlie. Look at him. Look at this poor Charlie. Aww. He's lovely.
I got you and your vibes in my mind, I can't get them out, no matter how hard I try. I need you and your heart next to mine, yeah, I'm all about keeping it you and I. When you're here, you spark chemical reactions, your aura strikes like lightning. Got no words, I'm just drowning in attraction, only one way to describe it. It's electric, can you feel it? You got the only touch that takes me high. It's electric, I'm up in my feelings.
Good morning. It's that time again when we're about to depart. There's a bit of bittersweet, you know, the bed's just in there, it's very comfortable, and the bikes are so hard. Today we've got to look forward to our first international border crossing by bicycle, where we have to get our passport stamped. There's two places we could do it. One's like a little tiny place and we're not sure we can get it done there. And one's like a big highway, so we're going to ride towards the highway, which is further away, which is kind of annoying. This accommodation was beautiful, very big and beautiful views. And there's a pub down the road that was just excellent for dinner last night. Like, it was awesome. We overate though, by a lot. PJ will send photos. Okay, well, we'll update you on the road.
Oh, you are so cute. Should we bring it with us? Alright, Chris, we gotta go. On the Croatian side, the border point has been completely abandoned and they've sort of moved into the Slovenian office. Soon, these border crossings will close completely and I guess these people will lose their jobs. It must be an awkward place to work right now.
We just crossed the border from Croatia into Slovenia. It was pretty painless. You get the Croatian stamp first, then you get the Slovenia stamp next. And we're at the first sort of intersection. We're just planning our route. And the road's been perfect so far. It's been beautiful tarmac. So hopefully that bodes well for the rest of it.
And we're going to the Eurovelo, aren't we?
We're going to eurovelo 13 now. Well, that's what it looks like.
And where are we going tonight?
We have no idea where we're going tonight yet. We'll work it out. We had some lunch a little bit earlier just to get rid of the rest of our kunas. So we're just going to head off into the wild blue yonder.
I don't think we had any problems at the border. I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I asked Schengen stamp okay, like for Charles, and he was like, yeah, okay, like waving us through.
The drivers are so polite here. The abandoned border control points stand like silent sentinels. Can you see the little window boxes on the left? And here's the second border point as we enter the new country. It looked like it was quite fancy in its day. Both Slovenia and Hungary joined the Free Movement Zone in 2007.
Okay, so we've just ridden from Croatia through Slovenia into Hungary. Not because, he's annoying, not because we're fast, but because of the weird shape of the border. So that was really cool and it was really easy, so definitely highly recommended. And Slovenia looked beautiful. I would have liked to have stayed the night, but we're on a mission and this is a sufferfest, so we're continuing through.
Hungarian parents are only allowed to give their child a name from a list of pre-approved names. If they want a different name, they have to apply to the Research Institute for Linguistics of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. Charlie spotted an example of Hungarian folk architecture. UNESCO recognises rural heritage buildings in Hungary as a non-renewable cultural resource. This traditional folk architecture is a great example of the rural agricultural lifestyle, and it also gives you a feel for the way that people live amongst each other and with the harsh environment at times.
Well, we've reached where we were staying tonight. We had about 73 kilometres on the bike today. Some of it was quite hilly and some of it was quite unpleasant because it was on a main road. But you know, it was on one of the Eurovelos and it was also on a bike path, but it was quite busy. I didn't like it that much. So there were some parts that were really great where you're going down quiet lanes and it was really quite lovely and very bucolic. And you know, the cows in the fields and the crops and the old buildings and you know, the old grandeur from days past. It was quite interesting. So we've just checked into our accommodation, which I haven't been in. I was not allowed. I had to do this first, and I'm hoping it's going to be grand. Okay, so PJ's been a trooper today. She's barely, you know, dampened the spirits. I think she could have done a bit better route planning so there wasn't so much main roads, but it was pretty good. Well, we've woken up today and we had a beautiful breakfast at the hotel we stayed at.
Beautiful breakfast, really?
Well, it was going to be really beautiful, but PJ stuffed it all up, you know, like, so I was going to get eggs on toast, but somehow I ended up with marmalade on toast because, you know, the vegan struck again. So anyway, there's a slight drizzle this morning and it's a bit overcast, and this church, it rings its bells for about 3 minutes at 6 o'clock in the morning, every morning by the sounds of it. And the hotel's right next door to it, and it's very loud for 3 minutes. So it was a nice way to wake up. It was pretty jarring. We kept on waiting for it to stop, but it's kind of cool, you know. It's like, not as nice as the call to prayer. You know, the really loud bells outside your window at 6 o'clock in the morning. This town is really cool. I don't know if you get it, but it seems like it's going through a bit of a renaissance. There's quite a few buildings being renovated, but they're really old, and it's really interesting to look around. So we went for a big long walk last night. We had dinner out, and it was a lovely place. It always amazes me, these places that aren't on the tourist map are sometimes better than the tourist area. I was talking to my daughter who was in Italy, and she was saying too many people, like she's really jammed in. And we were walking around these beautiful streets last night, beautiful flowers and laneways, and literally we're the only people there. The place we went for dinner was lovely, and we were the only customers. So we got royal service.
And today we're heading to the border with Austria. So we're staying in Hungary, but we'll be very close to the border on our way through to Vienna.
Do you see the people tidying up the streets?
We're in a little cute town called Jack, and there's a weather reporter there, and it's about 11 o'clock now, and it's 28.5 degrees at 45% humidity. And it's been a good day so far. The tarmac's been really great. We've been riding through the countryside, and this town is very cute. Yeah.
The name szombathely is from Hungarian szombath, which is Saturday, sorry for the pronunciation, and heli, which is place, referring to its status as a market town, and the medieval markets held on Saturday every week.
Close your eyes.
I like this town. It's really cool.
I just had a lovely chat with Sid and Pretty, and it really makes my day when folks give us a call.
The working to watching ratio is a universal road worker thing. Can you see the produce on the chairs and tables? Look on the side of the road. We'll mention it later.
Close your eyes.
I don't know if you can see this clearly, but the bike is just held by the front wheel and it's a quick release wheel. This seems to be a very low crime area. Most bikes are parked and not even locked. And when they're selling produce on the side of the road, they have little honesty boxes that are like clear glass jars with no lid. And they just leave the money there. It seems to be a really cool place. I like this a lot. Today we're heading through some interactions with the Eurovelo 13 and hopefully generally hugging back roads. This part of Hungary has a lot of people with Croatian ethnicity apparently, and particularly Croatian Jewish community elements, so that's really cool, really interesting. It is really cool.
This little car.
Okay.
I'm just a big fellow, and the wind is, you know, I create a lot of sail area for the wind.
Oh, this area is famous for its wind. We'll tell you about that a bit later.
The wind here is phenomenal. You can't quite see it, but it's intense. There's actually a saying that in Sopron, which is where we're going, it either rains or the wind blows or they ring the bells. I don't know why, but for some reason the locals think that is very funny.
When you're riding past the vineyards, they have these gunshots that go off to scare off the birds, and if you don't know it's coming, it's quite a shock. Like, I just rode past one and it's like pop, 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 like 3, and nearly fell off the bike. Most Australians aren't very comfortable around guns, and I'm sure it's not an actual gun, it's just like the bang. But brace yourself as you're coming through these vineyard areas. Usually it's off in the distance, but sometimes the bang things are very close to the road.
I know we said that we weren't going to cross the Austrian border, but we accidentally did, and it was lucky because we met Tom.
We can drink a coffee if you like.
Oh, I love coffee. Yes, please.
Yeah.
You know a good place?
I like to, yes.
Okay, let's do it.
Tom the Austrian was a really cool guy. First of all, he can ride really slowly because he was riding with PJ for quite a while. And then he rode with me, which is admittedly not much faster. He was on his road bike, but he dawdled so he could talk to us. And he took us on a really cool tour of the town, which we probably would have just ridden through if it wasn't for him, but we ended up staying an extra night on his recommendation. And then we went out for coffee and cake. And he took us to the happening place in town. So it was really great that we ran into him. And we're still in contact a little bit. He just went off to Croatia to do his own bike riding adventure across the islands in Croatia.
It felt great to reach Sopron, but we still had so far to go to get to Amsterdam. Next time.
Oh, we've reached the river and there's a lot of people that are just naked hanging around.